Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to check a new VTX from FullSpeed RC, the FSD TX600. In this video I'm going to go over its features, measure its output strength, and then head outdoors and test it out. The TX600 comes inside a small box. Inside we can find the VTX, and on the bottom a small bag with accessories that contains some spacers and screws, a 6-pin connector, and a simple linear antenna with an IPEX connector. As for the user manual, it can be found online, so you can just scan this QR code, and I'm also going to put a link to it in the description box down below. The TX600 supports 48 channels, it features smart audio on IRC TRAN protocol, and in addition it has a selectable output strength of 25, 100, 200, 400 and 600 mW. By default it comes locked to 25 mW, and shortly I'm going to show you how to unlock it. Over here we can find a 6-pin connector, so you can choose whether to use the included wire or you can directly solder all the ports to the bottom of the VTX. The top pad is the video in, then we've got the UART pad, so in order to control it through smart audio you will need to connect it to a free UART port and use the TX connector on your flight controller, and don't forget to configure it on Betaflight and choose IRC TRAN protocol. Then we've got a ground pad, LiPo Plus. The support voltage is between 5 to 27 volts, but according to FullSpeed RC, it's recommended to use plus 5 volts. Then we've got the ground, and finally plus 5 volts out for the camera. Over here we've got an IPEX connector for the antenna, and finally this button that will enable you to configure the VTX and also unlock it. As for its dimensions, the distance between the mounting holes is the standard 20 mm, so it's going to fit perfectly on a 20 by 20 stack, and the outer dimensions are about 25.9 by 25.3 by 4.2 mm. In addition, this VTX is very light and weighs only 2.22 grams, which makes it probably the lightest VTX in the world with a maximum output strength of 600 mW. So now I've got the VTX powered up. Just as a reminder, always power up a VTX when an antenna is connected, and by the way, this IPEX connector is very sturdy and the antenna doesn't come off pretty easily. Configuring the VTX can be done either by the smart audio or by using the button, which is located over here. In order to enter the setup mode, you have to long press it for 5 seconds, and then we'll be able to set up the channel, which is indicated by these 3 LED indicators on the top left. You can see we have 8 options, and just refer to the user manual in order to see how to set up the correct channel. Long pressing this button again for 5 seconds will enable you to set the band. And finally, long pressing it again for 5 seconds will enable you to set the output strength. Right now this VTX is locked, so this option is unavailable. In order to unlock the VTX, we'll need to long press this button for 20 seconds, and then it's going to be unlocked. Now the VTX was reset and it was unlocked, and you need to power it off and then power it on. And now let's see if selecting the output strength option is available. So you need to long press it for 5 seconds. Then long press it again for 5 seconds, and finally again. And now you can see that selecting the output strength option is available. It's indicated by these blue LED indicators. When both LED indicators are off, it means that it's on 25 mW. When the right one is on, it means that it's on 200 mW. When the left one is on, it means that it's on 100 mW. When both are on, it means that it's on 400 mW. And finally, when both LED are flashing, it means that it's on 600 mW. So now let's measure the output strength of this VTX. When it's set to 25 mV, I'm getting about 27 mV. As for the temperature, it's about 29.7 degrees Celsius or 85.4 degrees Fahrenheit. When it's set to 100 mV, I'm getting about 113 mV, and the temperature is about 31.5 degrees Celsius or 88.7 degrees Fahrenheit. When it's set to 200 mV, I'm getting about 210 mV, and the temperature is about 32.6 degrees Celsius or 90.6 degrees Fahrenheit. On 400 mV, I'm getting about 410 mV. Now it's getting a little bit hotter, and the temperature is about 36.8 degrees Celsius or 98.2 degrees Fahrenheit. And finally, when it's set to 600 mV, I'm getting about 500 mV. And the temperature is about 43.5 degrees Celsius, which are 110.3 degrees Fahrenheit. The next thing I'm going to do is to mount the TX600 on my Tomo Quad's sidewinder and head outdoors and test it out. The antenna that I'm going to use is the one that was included with the TX600, which is, by the way, the same VTX that is used on the Leader 3, which hopefully I'm going to be able to review soon. As always, I thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and you find it useful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell if you're not already subscribed. See you on my next videos, and goodbye.